Featherweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez defends his crown against NABF champion Dwight Pratchett. And then the main event, IBF heavyweight champion Larry Holmes defends his crown against the undisputed light heavyweight champion Michael Spinks. The Riviera has built a new 10,000-seat stadium in the parking lot, creating a carnival atmosphere in anticipation of tonight's big event. This one has taken on an added dimension. These spectators and those in our viewing audience at home are waiting to see history in the making. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. Welcome to Las Vegas. Joining us once more, as always, the champ, Sugar Ray Leonard. Ray, let's talk about the fight that we're going to be seeing in a little while, Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks. You visited with Larry Holmes, and he said, essentially, I'm going right after him. No nonsense. All business.
Right. What I saw in Larry Holmes was relaxed Larry Holmes, a condition, excellent condition Larry Holmes, a confident Larry Holmes. He told me he's going straight for Michael Spinks. Like history states, light heavyweights cannot hurt heavyweights.
So we're going to find out a lot of answers right in the very first round. Let's talk about Michael Spinks, the light heavyweight champion. He came in at 200 pounds, but the way he did it, I know, you don't necessarily agree with.
Well, I'm not an advocate of lifting weights. I never did in my career. And the fact that the way he lifted, the method that he lifted weights, he's toned. He's not fat. There's no excessive weight around his midsection. He looks conditioned. We might say different in a bigger Michael Spinks, but it might be a slower Michael Spinks.
So we're going to get some answers early on. Larry Merchant always has a unique perspective of things, and tonight he has a unique perspective from a unique perspective, way up there on high. Larry?
Pete Rose and Dwight Gooden have showed us this summer that the modern athlete, no matter how rich he is, still wants to push back the boundaries of excellence, still wants to write in the sands of time that he was here, that he did something else, something that nobody else has ever done before, that he used his talent to the fullest. And that's what tonight is really about. One way or the other, history will be made. If the bigger man beats the smaller man, then Larry Holmes will be one fight away from 50-0. If the younger man beats the older man, then Michael Spinks will have done something that no light heavyweight champion has ever done, defeated a heavyweight champion. The odds are very long on that, but no longer than they were when Leon Spinks, Michael's brother, upset Muhammad Ali. This being Las Vegas, we have a star-studded opening act to warm up the audience and to warm up you. That act features Julio Cesar, considered to be one of the best young fighters in the world, defending his 130-pound title. And no 130-pound champion has ever beaten a heavyweight champion either.
It seems the WBC super featherweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez was born to fight. The son of a railroad worker is unbeaten in 45 fights with 41 knockouts. Experts feel he has the potential to become the next Latin superstar, combining the determination of a young Roberto Duran with the cool confidence of a Carlos Monzon. Tonight, Mexico's newest knockout sensation hopes to show the world that Julio Cesar Chavez is a young champion with a tremendous future.
When I was a young boy, I used to watch and admire the great Larry Holmes, and now I can hardly believe I'm fighting on his undercard. It makes me very proud.
This super featherweight champion has a lot to be proud of. After winning the vacant WBC title in 1984 with an 8th-round knockout over Mario Martinez, Chavez has gone on to win 3 straight fights, all by knockout. He began 1985 with a New Year's Day celebration by knocking out Manny Hernandez in just 3 short rounds. 3 months later, Ruben Castillo, the number 1 ranked contender at the time, challenged Chavez. This was Castillo's 4th and probably last shot at the crown. The champion eliminated his high-ranking opponent, and Castillo was counted out at 2 minutes, 56 seconds of the 6th round in a fight scheduled for 12. The July fight against Roger Mayweather was also scheduled for 12 rounds, but Chavez wasn't that patient. In his first nationally televised fight in the United States, the Mexican champion showed American audiences the punching power that has made Julio Cesar Chavez unbeatable. After 4 knockdowns in the 2nd round alone, Roger Mayweather was counted out. Chavez had successfully defended his crown for the 2nd time.
I think that any boxer prepares himself extremely well, especially when he knows he will face a champion. I also always prepare myself very well, and I don't know my opponent, but I do know I will be ready to defend my title.
So a look at Julio Cesar Chavez. Here's the way these two match up. Chavez, the older of the two by a couple of years. Otherwise, really not much to choose. Reach advantage for Dwight Pratchett. But I'll tell you, he is in there against the buzzsaw tonight. I think you're really going to like Julio Cesar Chavez, and he's going to get tested somewhat by Pratchett, too. Let's take a look at how Julio Cesar Chavez fights his fights. He's a banger. There's no question about that. And I think the fact that he does not score a high percentage of punches as opposed to the amount of punches he throws, punches landed, that is, the amount of punches he throws, I think is indicative of the fact that he is a guy who's just going to go right after you. There's no question about that. So that is a look at how Julio Cesar Chavez fights. And here, on the other hand, is a look at how Dwight Pratchett fought in a close loss to Juan Laporte. He landed just about 30-some% of his punches. So they are comparable in terms of what percentage of punches they land, but in terms of how effective those punches are, well, Chavez is strictly the better of the two. Here's the way the WBC rules are. 10-point must system. 3 judges score the fight. There will be no standing 8 count. You can only be saved by the bell in the final round, and the ring doctor can stop the fight. So right now, let's get up to the center of the ring, and the ring announcer here in Las Vegas, Chuck Hall. Chuck?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to the Riviera Hotel Sports Arena, where tonight the dynamic duo, Don King and Butch Lewis, in association with the Riviera Hotel, presents History, a September to Remember. These bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Sig Rogich chairman, with the commissioners at ringside, Dwayne Ford, Art Lurie, Sammy Macias, and Freddie Little, along with the executive director, Harold Buck. The officials assigned for the next bout of the evening, the judges are Paul Smith, Senor Miguel Donante, Senor Jorge Ruiz Valesco, and the timekeeper is Mike Morabito. Counting in the knockdowns is Al Bisick. Your referee is Davey Pearl. This is a featured event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship of the World. Introducing, in the blue corner, the challenger, fighting out of Gary, Indiana, weighing 128 1/4 pounds, with a professional record of 13 wins, 6 defeats with 7 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the challenger, Dwight Too Tough Pratchett. And in the red corner, ladies and gentlemen, from Culiacan, Mexico, weighing in at an even 130 pounds. His professional record consists of 45 wins, no defeats, with 41 KOs. I would call your attention to the fact that he is wearing a black sash on the side of his trunks in mourning for the deaths of the victims of the earthquakes in Mexico City. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Julio Cesar Chavez.
Only one guy, only one guy. One guy. Somebody get out. I remember what I told you in the dressing room. Keep this a clean fight. Shake hands and good luck. Okay?
So your first look at the Super Featherweight champion, Julio Cesar Chavez, his 3rd title defense. He's beaten some quality opponents too, right?
Well, when he knocked out Roger Mayweather, that's when he impressed me as being a guy who could take a punch and give a punch.
Larry Merchant has joined us also. You've seen Chavez fight, Larry?
Just on television. This is my first look at him in person. Very impressive young man. If he stays on the track somewhere down the road, he could have a fight with Hector Camacho that'd be as big as Ray's fight with Tommy Hearns.
The title that he holds is the title, in fact, that Hector Camacho vacated, the Super Featherweight title.
I'm really surprised by Chavez. Normally he's a very aggressive fighter. I think what he's doing now is pretty much trying to feel Pratchett out, trying to see what type of punch he possesses.
Chavez, one of 10 children. Pratchett, one of 16 children. They could have sold the place out just in their siblings.
Come on, punch. Hold it up. Get up. Get up.
Pratchett, a tough loss to Juan Laporte.
Turn him loose when I tell you now.
Interesting when his most impressive performance is a loss, but it was to a quality opponent. Chavez can punch. That was a pretty good uppercut by Pratchett, but it got Chavez on the way back. right hand.
And Chavez, there is concentration. I mean, when they execute a punch, it's with authority, it's with power, and it's accurate.
And he's on balance also.
The more I see Chavez, the more I'm impressed because he improves every fight.
Very dedicated fighter, anxiously learning how to speak English now because he figures wisely that it will help him in his career. Good looking kid.
Well, Pratchett's trying to get his punches in this very first round. He ran to the right hand, didn't seem to do too much damage. In fact, Pratchett appears to be so much smaller than Chavez. There was the right hand again. He's running into the right hand mainly because he drops his hand as he comes in.
Chavez punches just sound like they have so much authority. Down toward the end of the first round. And we, incidentally, will have an interpreter in Julio Cesar Chavez's corner. Tito Alba on hand to help us out with that. So you'll hear a simultaneous interpretation of just what is going on in the corner of the champion, Julio Cesar Chavez. And to round one.
A feeling out round, obviously, for Chavez. And here's Larry Holmes.
We're going to do the thing. Right here, the Riviera, knocking out things. How much is this?
Un poquito más veloz. Entras un paso pasando ya.
I got tape around his waist. He's got it.
Permítame.
No, so take it off.
They're talking about that they expect him to try to knock him out fast, so he's got to be very careful and watch him very closely and be a little bit more, a little faster.
Even for a feeling out round, Chavez did look to be going at a rather lethargic rate.
So we'll see if he doesn't pick up the tempo here in the second round. Chavez in the red trunks, Pratchett in the white trunks. Pratchett pressing Chavez a little bit here.
Chavez has been elusive. He has not been hit by any big bombs thrown by Pratchett. He moves his head very well. But it's time now to throw his own bombs.
Pratchett staying right on top of Chavez. You agree with that strategy, Ray?
Well, I think for Pratchett, his best bet, because not really a one-punch knocker-outer, his best bet is to use his boxing skills.
And you saw Chavez indicate to Davy Pearl that he was being butt.
You see inside, when Pratchett goes inside, he's not that effective. He's better on the outside.
Get your hands off his neck.
Chavez just seemingly in control, hasn't really fired the big bombs yet.
Chavez is going to do something. The way I see Pratchett, he throws punches and he drops. He stoops, and he's doing it repeatedly. So what Chavez may do, he may bring some punches under. He has to time him. The right hand there, land.
Chavez's hero, Ruben Olivares, youngest Mexican champion ever. And of course Salvador Sanchez, who he says he's never met, but he has seen on television, very likely on right here on HBO, prior to his tragic death.
Chavez doesn't specialize in the left jab. He
Take your hands off his
primarily
neck
likes to
now.
throw right hands and left hooks. His left jab is pretty much something to measure for the right hand.
Good combination by
Hands off his
Pratchett
neck,
that did
Dwight.
get in.
Look at the way he digs to the body.
Punch out now. Punch out. Your hands are free. Watch your head now. Watch your head.
Pratchett posing a bit of a problem here for Chavez right now. He's staying on top of him, and he seems to have the champion not so much in trouble, but just a little bit confused.
Well, normally Chavez is a relentless fight. He stays on top of his opponent, just the way he did with Roger Mayweather.
Them loose now. Get your hand off.
He is content to just kill his man out for another round.
Neither man has been hurt. Pratchett has been the aggressor in the fight, and Chavez has kind of sat back and just watched the goings-on.
Keep him up now.
Chavez has 45 fights under his belt. Won them all, 41 of them by knockout. So he's dangerous. There's no question about that.
Get up.
Coming down to the end of the second round now.
Hold it!
Well, I think a case can be made that Pratchett has won the first 2 rounds of the fight, at least on my card. And he's posing some opposition, and I think that's good for Chavez, and it's good for us. Win these rounds. He covered that big right here. Not much going on there. I guess they're happy with what they're seeing.
Looking good, son.
Although he has a long reach advantage, Pratchett isn't using it. He's just going right at Chavez.
Hey, give me some adrenaline.
I know the first rounds are very difficult, but you have to take it easy and keep on hitting low on the low side of his body.
So we start the third round, and in Chavez's corner, they're telling him to stay downstairs. That'll bring the man's arm down, and then he can go head hunt.
Take your hands off his neck.
Meantime, Pratchett showing himself very well.
Well, he doesn't have to look for Pratchett because he's been there for the past 2 rounds. He has chosen to stand toe-to-toe with a devastating puncher as Chavez.
Hold it up, break. Step out.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, the most impressive Pratchett has been was in a 10-round loss to Juan Laporte, but the indicative number there is 10 rounds. He did go the distance.
Now Chavez is starting to dip that left hook to the body. It's a thing of beauty, Barry, because you can see the results. You can see something taking place in a fighter. Those hands start to drop. His movement slows down a great deal.
There's blood showing, actually, on the ribs of Julio Cesar Chavez, but I can't really tell where the blood is coming from. It's coming off the gloves, apparently, but I don't see either fighter marked on the face.
Hands off his neck.
Chavez is finding it really quite difficult to get some clean punches in. Good body shot, but it's difficult to land a good punch on Pratchett for the time being because he keeps his hands very high, which is a good habit.
Once again, there's signs of blood, but I can't really tell where that blood is coming from. We'll try to see if they're working on either of these fighters in the corner between rounds.
This is going to turn out to be a fight of strength and power. And I'm sure Chavez should win on power. He's proven it in 41 knockouts.
So far, though, Pratchett's getting his punches off quicker than Chavez.
Oh, there's no question about it, though. He has the quicker hands. But the power has to go to Chavez. But Chavez can't get his punches off too cleanly because Pratchett stays very close.
Neither man has been hurt. This is the third round.
You have to wonder how much of this can Pratchett take. Because any big puncher is an accumulation. It takes his toll.
His neck. Keep your hands off his neck now.
Pratchett being told by Davey Pearl to keep your hands off his neck, and Pratchett is holding a little bit with the left hand.
Well, he's making Chavez fight. Chavez is finding it difficult to get some punching room.
Oh, and Pratchett actually dropped his hands and walked away.
There is seen to be blood coming from the mouth of Pratchett.
Get your hands off.
It could be his lip or his jaw. Or his jaw, exactly.
He just dropped his hands and walked away, and you couldn't help but think he was hurt.
Don't take that phone off.
He has a bloody mouth, Pratchett.
Where's his mouthpiece?
They can't find his mouthpiece.
I gave it to Bill.
What happened to his mouthpiece?
You didn't give me this mouthpiece. No, you didn't.
The mystery of the disappearing mouthpiece. Did he go out without a mouthpiece, Ray?
I'm sure he did.
They're hollering for a mouthpiece. Somebody go downtown and buy a mouthpiece.
Well, normally you have two mouthpieces in the corner. But this doesn't happen often.
Spit it out. Give me some.
And there is the new, bigger Michael Spinks warming up.
Superman, Super Spinks.
And I believe while we were watching Michael Spinks that his corner did indeed slip a mouthpiece into Pratchett's mouth, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not either, Larry, and he's still bleeding from the mouth, too.
No, they gave him a mouthpiece. And this is a good thing because those punches are going to the chin.
That was a big left hand by Chavez, and I believe Pratchett is hurt.
Hold it up. He took a better punch without the mouthpiece.
Hold it for. Cut it out.
Chavez now is just trying to measure Pratchett. It's all power now. You will see a different Chavez, a more aggressive Chavez, a much more effective Chavez. I think he has his man figured out now. Drill those shots to the body.
Hard shots to the body.
Up to the head, and down to the body.
Good right hand there, too. And another right hand. And you're right, he's really starting to measure his man now.
Oh, he has him figured out now, Barry.
Coming right over the left hand of Dwight Pratchett.
What he's doing now, actually, he's just trying to take his man apart piece by piece. He's putting his punches together. It's not one punch anymore, it's two punches, and three.
Punch out. Punch out.
Chavez keeps that left foot out. I like that because he maintains his balance that way. Plus he's able to get the leverage behind each punch. A lot of fighters make the mistake of putting both feet together.
Every one of Chavez's punches has that sound of authority to it.
Well, he's getting the snap behind each punch, which means he's delivering each punch properly. Pratchett has a pretty good chin. He's been hit by some good shots thrown by Chavez. But it's a matter of how much of this can he take.
Pratchett's record a little bit deceiving because, as we mentioned, he's had impressive performances against both Juan Laporte and against Jimmy Paul, tough Detroit fighter. Went the distance against both those men. So he's a tough kid.
Get your hands off his back.
I think Chavez has taken Pratchett's best.
Watch your shoulders now. Watch your elbows.
He's really going to miss.
Pratchett has done a very good job of smothering the punches of Chavez, not giving him punching room. Only a few times Chavez was able to land with his telling blows.
Keep punching. Your hands are free.
Hold it!